Okay, very special wishes of Good Shabbos to all of our children in the Jewish Center. You can see the beautiful tent behind me. And we're continuing on with our series about basic Jewish values, the things that the Torah teaches us that are lessons for each and every one of us, whether we're adults or children, boys or girls in our lives. And in this Parsha Re'eh, you don't need to look further than the first pasuk. Re'eh anochi noten lifnechem hayom beracha u'klala. Hashem says, I'm putting it all down right in front of you. The bracha and the klala, the blessing and the opposite of blessing, curses. And it all depends on your choices. Later on in Sefer Dvarim, the Torah comes back to the same language. It says that Hashem is putting in front of us bracha and klala, the chayim and the tov, the maves v'eshara. Hashem is giving us a chance to make the right choices, and to choose life. Uvacharta b'chayim l'man tichya ata v'zarecha, and we would always choose life and always make the right choices. So Hashem says, I'm not going to make the choices for you guys. You guys are going to make the choices that will come to be the most important things in your lives. We're going to decide what kind of people that we are. You know, there's a famous comment that the Gemara makes that everything is in the hands of Hashem except for whether or not we have awe for Hashem. Hakol b'dei shamayim chutz miyirat shamayim. But the Rambam explains that yirat shamayim impacts everything that we do, the way that we relate to our parents and our brothers and sisters and our friends and our schoolwork, and all of the choices that we make are a reflection of our values. Hakol b'dei shamayim chutz miyirat shamayim, the Rambam says, means that everything in this world is really bidei Adam. Everything is really in our own hands. So responsibility is this week's message. We have to take great responsibility for our choices, and we have to make, of course, good choices. And I just want to conclude with a very favorite story of mine. You know, not only are we Jews, but we're Americans, and we're very proud Americans. And one of the things that we're proudest of as Americans is something called World War II. In World War II, America fought for goodness in the world against some very, very wicked and evil people. And one of the great commanders of that war for the United States, who later became a president, was a man named Dwight David Eisenhower. And he was leading a very, very, very important operation called D-Day, when the soldiers of the United States were going to land in a place called France, and they were going to cross the English Channel, a body of water. And it was a very complicated and very challenging operation that he was going to supervise. And he did not know whether or not the soldiers would succeed. So before the operation, he wrote 2 letters. One of them was what he was hoping he was going to read out after the mission was successful, after the soldiers landed. The other letter was his taking responsibility if things did not go well, if the soldiers would not be able to land in France after crossing the waters. And this is something of great importance. He wrote this before the operation. That means that this is before he would even know what happened. Maybe he could have, if things didn't work out, blame it on somebody else. Maybe he could have pointed his fingers at somebody else. But to be a responsible person always means to always make the best choices and to point the finger at yourself and not at anybody else. And so a message for all of our children: what a great privilege it is to take responsibility. What a great privilege it is to be able to make our own choices. That's what this week's Parsha opens with. Re'eh anochi noten lifnechem hayom beracha u'klala. Let's all make great choices.